Hello, this is your midday news from our Vox Africa studios in London. I am Pamela Bonkiyung. Now, a suicide bomb attack on a restaurant in Mogadishu, Somalia's capital, has left 15 people dead. 3 Somali soldiers were among the dead and 20 people were wounded. The explosions were described as deadly and targeted the hotspot where government officials and journalists usually gathered to drink tea. Liban Ali Noor Abdisattar Dahi, who worked with state-run Radio Mogadishu and TV, and Abdirahman Yassin, director of Voice of Democracy, a local independent FM radio station, were some of the journalists reported dead. Hailemariam Desalegn has been sworn in as the new Ethiopian Prime Minister. Mr. Hailemariam, 47, promised to continue Mr. Meles's legacy without any change, in his own words. Hailemariam was previously Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister and was last week chosen to head the governing Ethiopian People's Revolutionary Democratic Front. Many are hoping the transition will remain smooth following the death of Meles Zenawi last month. The presidents of Sudan and South Sudan are to meet in Ethiopia to hold some talks. No information has yet been released on the details of the talks and issues to be tackled. According to former South African President Thabo Mbeki, the United Nations Security Council and African Union put a deadline on September 22nd for agreements to be made on border issues of the two sides. It has been hinted that the Abyei region issue will be discussed as well during the meeting, and talks and negotiations between Omar al-Bashir and Salva Kiir is expected to put an end to the long conflicts and bloodshed between the two countries. Here is General Abdirahman Khatum, Sudan's ambassador to Ethiopia.
I expect Bashir to meet with the Sudanese delegation and also to meet with Mbeki and his team, as well as with, expect him to meet with President Hailemariam Desalegn, PM of Ethiopia, expected, and also with President Salva Kiir at the end of this visit. So we hope they will succeed to sign some agreements, hopefully, before they finalize their session in Addis Ababa this time. I think they'll at some time, although they haven't yet met directly, but I think this will happen whenever the situation is conducive for this direct meeting.
Arik Air, Nigeria's largest airline, has been forced to cancel flights due to disruption by aviation officials. This has left many passengers stranded. However, they have all been promised full refunds for their tickets. The dispute arises from allegations that the airline has not been paying airport fees to the Federation Aviation Authority of Nigeria, FAAN. The director of operations for Arik Air, Captain Ado Sanusi, told the BBC that claims they owed billions of naira to the FAAN were false. An earlier press conference by Arik Air contradicted Mr. Sanusi by saying they owed the FAAN, but not as much as the aviation authority claimed. Transit passengers have been offered hotel accommodation while a resolution is sought. The United Kingdom Border Agency went ahead to deport a group of 25 failed Sri Lankan asylum seekers. This was accompanied by several warnings from charities that those who support the Tamils could still face torture due to their alleged links to the separatist rebels. Officials say that of those deported, 13 were transported on a chartered flight and were Tamils, with 8 Muslims and 4 Sinhalese. The minority Tamils in Sri Lanka have complained of persecution by governments dominated by the Sinhalese majority since they gained independence in 1948 from Britain. Georgia's interior minister has resigned following protest over a video leaked on the internet showing the torture of inmates at a prison by prison officers. This morning, Georgian students have continued their mass protests against the torture of prisoners by prison officers. They vow to continue until those responsible are severely punished. The acting interior minister, Ika Guladze, has promised that such behavior is what the current administration has been trying to get rid of. Meanwhile, Mikhail Saakashvili's administration has blamed the opposition, the United National Movement, on the leadership of billionaire Bidzina Ivanishvili for purposely creating the video to discredit his administration. The video shows inmates being raped with broomsticks and others slapped and tortured by guards. Let's hear more from the acting Interior Minister Ika Guladze and one of the protesters.
There was time in Georgia when all state institutions were as closed and ruthless as this prison. There was time when organized crime was destroying our civil life. This time is over and we'll never return to it. There is no room for violence in Georgia, and this ministry will ensure that our parents and our children will feel free and secure, including at the time of the elections, which we are going to have in 12 days. And our people will be able to make their choice in a free and calm environment. This ministry will guarantee it.
Today we have partially achieved our demands, but this does not change anything in fact. Akalia stepped down, but Akalia number 2 came. Ika Guladze. This does not change anything. If President Mikhail Saakashvili thinks that everything is over and we will all go home, then he is very much mistaken.
British Deputy Prime Minister Nick Clegg on Wednesday offered an apology for not keeping his promise of stopping the increase in tuition fees. However, the whole process seems to have been subverted and landed Clegg in hot water as his apology has become the butt of jokes and viral videos on the internet. The reaction from most students has been that the apology is a little too late, as they are already paying £9,000 now compared to £3,000 last year. Labour's Harriet Harman has dismissed Mr Clegg's apology as crocodile tears. The coalition between the Conservatives and the Liberal Democrats has resulted in the Lib Dems losing out many seats in legislative elections in May. The parties voted on some issues in Parliament not in line with their promises and party policies. With the number of jobless people rising, the chairman of the Italian Benetton Group has launched a campaign to seek a cure for the failing global economy. His campaign hopes to find solutions by encouraging those between the ages of 19 to 30 to suggest projects and ideas. The 48-year-old Alessandro hopes this campaign of unhate can highlight the plight of the unemployed people under 30 and give them the opportunity to offer ideas. The campaign consists of posters, T-shirts, a film and a contest that will choose 100 employees of the year. The winners will each receive €5,000 for their pet projects. Let's hear more from Alessandro Benito himself.
In this case, there will be a contest. There will be a contest done on the web where these young people, 19 to 30, these 100 million people, can subscribe and be entitled to either propose a project, which can be either an entrepreneurial project, a project for the society, for the country, town. I don't pretend we can change the world, I don't pretend we can do anything, but if one day I find out that other companies do something practical, like we do, I'll be happy. I think we're going to be surprised by these ideas that are going to come across, because they're going to be more innovative than what we suspect. And that is going to be, for me, I hope, the demonstration that these people to be more active, should play a more active role in analyzing where we are and what we should do in order to get out of this moment.
A spoof photographer has created a fashion show set with a Queen lookalike and other celebrities seated at the front row. The set was created such that the Queen was joined by singer Elton John and Katy Perry. All the characters are made to pose in order to create the look of a fashion show runway, with the Queen looking on, impressed by what she sees in the details of the clothes. Photographer Alison Jackson has joined forces with Philip Colbert and his Rudnick brand label to put this spoof of celebrity culture of the fashion world together. This was made to coincide with the end of the London Fashion Week. Let's hear from Alison Jackson, the spoof photographer involved with the display, and Philip Colbert of Rudnick band label.
Well, I mean, it's, you know, Fashion Week is, you know, every celebrity's there at every party and everything. So I just thought it would be nice to recreate something where you see the royals and Elton and Katy Perry at a fashion shoot all together looking at Philip's fantastic clothing. So it's really about how they would love to see his clothing, I suppose.
Traditionally, fashion shows always have the front row, which is a sort of always as much a talking part as the clothes, a talking point in terms of who was on the front row. And so because my brand, the Rudnick Band, is very sort of comical and more tongue-in-cheek, I sort of thought, well, the ultimate Rudnick fashion show should be a sort of spoof on the traditional fashion shows.
Now, thousands are queuing in different parts of the world to lay their hands on the much-coveted iPhone 5. The phone uses the new 4G and allows for an ultra-fast connection wireless technology. Lighter than its former iPhones, it boasts a lighter weight, and with its new A6 chip allows for a longer battery life. Within 24 hours, over 2 million orders have been placed. People have been queuing at Apple stores from Singapore to Hong Kong in China, France, Germany, Japan and across several cities in Australia. The Apple Store employees in Paris, France, coincidentally went on a strike on Friday when the phone was launched. They are said to be demanding pay rises and an extra month pay that most French corporations traditionally offer. This has not affected sales at the Paris store, however, as orders keep streaming in and the queues remained long. Now, even Apple's co-founder Steve Wozniak was queuing in Brisbane, Australia, for his own iPhone 5. Let's hear from him.
Well, this is the place where the iPhone 5 is being released to the world for the first time in the world, and I don't have to wait 17 extra hours to get it in California. I don't look at it as a comparison contest. No one product is going to have all the good features in the world, so competitors might have some very good things that we don't have on our iPhones, and our iPhones might have some very good things that they don't have. I think the iPhone is the best. It's my favorite. I want it to be the greatest in the world. I want it to have some of the good features those other phones have.
Now I'm going to get one. Thank you for watching, and visit www.voxafrica.co.uk/news for more updates. Bye for now.